So this is the honest story of watching my coaching model die underneath me, and why the industry oldest joke contains it's the next business model. You know the oldest joke in our industry, coaches teaching coaches to become coaches who coach coaches. We all laughed about it. I laughed about it while I was doing a version of it, which is the part nobody really wants to admit it. But that joke kept working for a reason. The model was the product. Learn the machine, become the machine, sell the machine to the next person. It was never really about niches or transformation. It was a pyramid of methodology, and it held together fine as long as the methodology itself still worked. Now, let me explain to you a little bit more about what actually happened and how I adjusted to something that pretty much happened by accident. Now we know the machine is broken and half the industry is still out there trying to sell it. Let me tell you how I found out, because I did not figure out this through strategy or foresight. I found out the way you find out you had been sitting in a draft slowly, and then all at once you know that something is not quite right. The part where my business quietly fell apart. Group coaching was my engine for years. And if most of you do some kind of coaching, you probably did some kind of group coaching or one-on-one coaching or even membership. And it goes a bit like this: weekly calls, cohorts, launches, workshops, the whole rhyme to it. And it worked until it didn't. And they didn't arrive so gradually that I spent months blaming everything else. I was thinking, is the algorithm, is the economy, is it me, is it the offer, which I rewrote 3 times over and over again by myself, mostly sitting up at night at 2 o'clock in the morning. And what happened here is I noticed people stopped attending calls they had paid for. And see about how strange this whole concept is. They paid you and then they did not come. Others left mid-program without a word. And that silence was worse than any complaint, because a complaint at least gives you something to fix. Silence just leaves you refreshing the attendance list, wondering what the heck happened. Meanwhile, I was showing up to every call with more energy than the room gave back, explaining the same frameworks I had explained 100 times to people who would forget by Thursday and ask again the following Tuesday. I remember finishing one call, closing the laptop and saying out loud to nobody, maybe to my dog, I suppose I cannot keep doing this, and then doing it again the next day and the next month, because the calendar says so. The numbers kept sliding, the efforts kept climbing. That combination, the effort up, the results down, is the market's way of telling you the problem is actually not you. It is the model. And it took me an embarrassingly long time to hear it and do something about it. Because here is what the group coaching model actually asks of everyone involved. It asks the client to fit their problems around my calendar, to show up Wednesday morning at 8 a.m., whether or not Wednesday at 8 a.m. is when they need help, to sit through 40 minutes of other people's questions, hoping the 15 minutes of glory will arrive, and then to remember whatever they got days or weeks later when the problem finally shows up on their screen for real. It just doesn't match up. And it asked me to be the delivery mechanism for my own knowledge. All the lies, the forevers, my energy welded to every dollar. And the better I got at it, the more clients came, the more calls I ran, the more workshops I created, and the less of me was left. The model punishes you for being good at it, basically. Nobody tells you that when you're starting out. And both sides were exhausted for me. The market moved first. I just eventually stopped pretending I had to notice. So let me explain to you what I did about it. And I say it was almost accidental. A while ago, I built a prompt that turned my frameworks into an AI tool. It's called Scribble Coaching. And then I built a system that only gives paying members access to it. Access to the tool, access to me. That became my own prompt called Scribble Coaching. It started as a home project, genuinely, me at the kitchen table with 12 years of frameworks and a suspicion that my knowledge did not actually need me in the room to be worth something. And today I have 87 paying members, 2,600 a year, reoccurring revenue. And I have not delivered a single live call for any of it. My calendar is mine, my energy is mine, and the delivery quality is identical on my best day and my worst, which took real getting used to because my old business ran entirely on my mood, whether I admitted it or not. And this one simply does not care how I sleep at night. Now, the part that took me longest to accept, and emotionally, not intellectually, was the part that really made the changes for me. My clients get a better experience now than when they had me live. And not comparable, better, because the tool answers the specific questions the moment they ask it. It could be 11 p.m. on a Sunday, a panic before a launch, right when the problem is actually in front of them, which no group call could ever do, no matter how good I was in the room. So the old model gave people access to me on a schedule. This one gives them my thinking on demand. And it turns out that thinking was the product all along. The scheduling was just a friction we'll agree to pretend was intimacy. And the repetition was draining me. The same framework explained for the 1,000th time, that became the product too. The system explains it infinitely and never once resents anyone for asking. So what are we talking here? We're talking about software that sells software. A bit like the old joke back in the old days when we were talking about coaches that sell coaching. And here is where the old joke turns into the new model. And I find this genuinely funny in a way I did not expect. Let me explain. The tool that runs my business is the same tool my members use to build theirs. The product demonstrates itself. Every user becomes a demonstration. I'm going to give you an example. Angela is a client. She had 55 email subscribers, 55, which by every guru metric means she's not allowed to make money yet. She watched my system work, packages her own expertise into her own tool, got people on a Monday morning call, and screen share what she did. Timed the room's actual question into it while everyone watched her framework, solve real problems in real time. In other words, she demonstrated something that she had. There was no pitch, sign them now. There was no urgency. There was no scarcity. And by the end of the call, 5 people had bought at $1,250 each. This is $6,250 from a list of smaller than a wedding invite list. And now the people who bought hers are asking her how she made it, which tells you everything about where this is heading next. Not coaches all the way down, but tools all the way up. The structural difference matters because the old pyramid consumed trust as it grew. Everyone eventually noticed the coaching about coaching was mostly bubbles of fresh air. But software that helps experts build software compounds trust instead, because at every layer, somebody is holding a thing that actually works. So I'm also midway through writing up another case study, a tool built from someone else's existing content, their courses and documents, the stuff already sitting on their laptop accumulating dust, 37 paying subscribers from 7 emails. It is taking me a moment to finish because I wanted to show how fast the whole thing came together. The speed is the story. Neither of them can code. In 2026, that barrier is simply gone, and most of the industry is still politely pretending it is not. What this actually takes. Think about it. Courses, PDFs, recordings, a Google Drive full of clients' work, and some decent salesmanship. That is the entire list. And notice what is not on it. No developer, no funding, no technical co-founder, no 6 months build. The raw material is thinking you already have. Most of it already written down, currently earning you nothing between engagements. I know consultants sitting on a decade of frameworks, delivering them on slow, painful engagement at a time. Everything from scratch. Every client needing them personally for every piece. No leverage, no real help, just them and a calendar. In a fight, the calendar always wins. The same thinking, package once, becomes the most defensible asset they could own. They're thinking that pays them while they sleep and holds clients through tight months because nobody cancels the thing their business runs on. So think about something that you build and that people cannot live without. They can easily leave your cohort, they can easily leave your membership. But if you have a tool in there that they are depending upon, that's another game. So I did not leave coaching because I stopped caring. I left a version that cost more than it gave back. And what I do now reaches more people, serves them better, and leaves me with enough energy on a Friday to actually think, which, funny enough, is the thing everyone was paying me for in the first place. So 10 people, that is what I'm looking for. Not 10 people ready to think about it or save this video to a folder called ideas. 10 people ready to take their existing expertise and turn it into a tool they own before their window closes and this becomes the thing everyone is doing. I will work with you directly. I will build this for you. I will package it for you. I will help you sell it the same way I built mine and Angela has built hers. And the same tool that I'm currently providing as a done for you service. So think about it as a white label because that's another level altogether. So reply to this video and comment adapt and I will send you the details. And it is genuinely only for 10 people because I work with people directly on this and I have a life. And not because a countdown timer told me to say it. Okay, so I'm going to be very transparent here. I only want to work with 10 people who are genuinely interested, and they also need to have an offer. They need to have an audience. They need to have some kind of expertise. Okay, so the market did not wait for me to be ready, and it will not wait for you either. So comment below, and I'll send you the invitation. Take care, guys.